They hate Jesus Christ.
He had this hate of Muslims, and he was going to blow up a mosque.
My hatred of Islam, it was the only thing that was keeping me alive.
Wow. It's a weakness in our religion.
You're never gonna fool me.
Hello everyone, welcome to the most active and consistent channel of all time. Today I've got a couple of good interesting clips for you guys and we are gonna react to them, and they are tied together with a very interesting and important subject. First clip is Joe Rogan speaking about this overly patriotic American guy who hated Muslims so bad that he was planning to build a go place it inside an Islamic center and a mosque, and how this guy turned from hate to love and converted to Islam after interacting with Muslims and learning the truth about Islam and reversing the effects of years and years of brainwashing and propaganda.
There was a guy who was on this podcast, John Bernthal. He was talking about this guy that he interviewed. He was going to blow up a mosque. He had this hate of Muslims after coming back from overseas, from serving, and he was going to blow up a mosque. And he went in there and he met this woman who welcomed him into the mosque, and he was still totally intent on blowing her up, blowing everybody up. She invited him over her home for dinner. He was still intent on it. So he gets to know her and his family, completely changes course, becomes a devout Muslim. Wow. And then talked about the whole experience.
My hatred of Islam, it was the only thing that was keeping me alive. I saw an opportunity to do one last thing for my country. This was my rationale. I was going to make my own IED, and I was going to set across the Islamic Center over in a bank's parking lot, and I was going to dial it in and just watch the show. I remember my daughter looking at me like I was absolutely the craziest person on the face of the earth. I decided to give the people of this community one more chance. Long story short, 8 weeks after that first day I stepped into the Islamic Center, I became a Muslim. Judaism had a message, Christianity had a message, Islam had a message. Funny thing is, though, it was the same message. It was about peace, and it was about love. My big thing is now to stop the hate. Nothing good has ever come out of hatred.
So as you see guys, the moment somebody interacts with Muslims in real life, at the minimum he realizes that they are human beings just like him, flawed but also have a lot of good, and this destroys that image of the boogeyman that the media try to establish for years and years through their various means of propaganda like Hollywood and the mainstream media. And this brings me to this video posted by the UFC fighter Bryce Mitchell, where he speaks about the nation of Israel and how he loves Muslims.
Let me tell you something about 9/11. Ain't no Muslims did 9/11. 9/11 was done by Israel, the same people that raped those kids on Epstein's Island. All of y'all can go to hell. Israel hates Jesus Christ. They hate Jesus Christ. The nation of Israel hates Jesus Christ. They fit the description of Revelation 2:9 and 3:9, the synagogue of Satan. The nation state of Israel is the synagogue of Satan. You corrupted evil bastards. You did 9/11. You blamed it on the Muslims. Guess what? I love Muslims. You're never going to fool me. Muslims love Jesus Christ. The only people that hate Jesus are the synagogue of Satan, is Israel.
As you guys can see, this is something that I see again and again every day on social media, of people realizing the truth, breaking away from the brainwashing and turning to the real source of danger that's been using Islam and Muslims as a scapegoat to turn the people's eyes away from the evil they commit, which also in return helps garner the support for their never-ending wars against Muslims in our Muslim lands. And the result, millions and millions of Muslims dead, Muslim countries destroyed, and more hate bred into the hearts and minds of people. Christians and Muslims actually have a lot in common. Part of believing, or part of being Muslim, is believing in Jesus and all the prophets. And this brings me to this clip from Joe Rogan, where he speaks about the names Muhammad and Jesus, where he says there are millions of Muhammads all over the world, where Christians do not name their kids Jesus.
You can't do that.
How come you can name your son Muhammad? How come you can't name your son Jesus?
Yeah.
Think about how many Muhammads there were. Think about if it was like
The most popular name in the world,
if
right?
it was in vogue to name your kid Jesus.
Right. Right, just millions of Jesuses.
So many Jesuses.
Right.
Because if you think about how many Muhammads there are, why are there not an equal number of Jesuses?
Right.
Because we don't allow it. It's a weakness in our religion.
And I guess he's wrong in two ways here, because if you look at Latinos, for example, they name their kids Jesus, which means Jesus. But also for Muslims, as I said, because Jesus is a very important figure in Islam, I know so many people with the name Isa, which is the Arabic for Jesus. The amount of people named Isa in the Muslim nations and Muslim countries could actually be in the millions, because he's a very important figure for Muslims.
Alhamdulillah, I know you got this, they don't like this. Alhamdulillah, tomorrow night I'm gonna smash your boy, guys.